Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kelly Writers House. We're so happy to have you here tonight for Nothing Elegant, which is our celebration in the spirit of Gertrude Stein. We're happy to be part of PIFA, the Philadelphia International Festival of the Arts this year. And if you're joining us because you saw our event in their guide and you've never been here before, or for some reason you're not connected with us, please do sign our guest book at the door by the little computer screen. We have 300 free and public events every school year. That's 300 events in 140 days, and we'd love to see you at more of them.
I'm starting us off tonight just with some pictures and sort of a brief introduction and discussion about why we're having this event to celebrate this time period with the PIFA Festival, why Stein, and why at the Kelly Writers House. This is a picture taken by Man Ray. It's Gertrude Stein posing next to the famous, Picasso's famous portrait of Gertrude Stein. And this was taken in her salon at 27 Rue de Fleurus in Paris. Art was very important to Stein, painting and portraiture especially. She was often referred to as a literary cubist. And I think that this slide illustrates why Cubism is right for Gertrude Stein. If you look at the portrait on the left is by Swiss painter Valetone, and it's maybe a more traditional sort of portrait of Stein. And to the right is Picasso's Cubist portrait. I think if you know something about Gertrude Stein, you might agree that the one on the right is just the one that really captures her as a person, and it's said that this was her modernist face, and it's like the push that she really needed that came right at a time when her career was her writing career was taking an important turn. And Gertrude Stein and Picasso had a very interesting relationship. She was basically his main patron until the beginning of World War I, and he painted this portrait for her as a gift. Gertrude Stein and her brother both lived in Paris, her brother Leo, at 27 Rue de Fleurus, and Leo was an art collector, and that's how Gertrude Stein became interested in collecting art. This is a picture of their studio, which they began to fill with the paintings that they collected together with their shared funds as they were living together in Paris. You can see in the top is the portrait that Picasso painted of her before it was even framed. She was that excited about it that she put it up, and other paintings that you might recognize in the photo might be Matisse's Woman with a Hat, which is right below the portrait, and they basically filled their studio with early Matisse's and Picasso's and other up-and-coming and exciting artists of the time. And this salon space was very dynamic. I'm going to show some more pictures of the space. Here it is a couple of years later, and you can see, although this is a rotated view, there's many different paintings here. Things have been moved around, and it was sort of legendary for having almost all of the wall space filled with pictures. And the 27 Rue de Fleurus studio eventually became a sort of safe haven and exciting salon space for artists and writers and critics and other literary figures in Paris at the time. That's why I think this event here at the Writers' House tonight is great, because we also like to think of ourselves as a space that encourages exciting new literary and artistic ventures. And here's just another picture to show that things changed constantly. It was an exciting, dynamic place to be. And final picture. So I hope that tonight is a night full of celebrating Stein with some of her favorite things, which were great food, good company, and really excellent, interesting art. So thanks.
Good evening. Bonsoir. Sorry, I have to tenderize the buttons first. You will probably ask, what is this accordionist doing here? Why is he not in the back room of some cafe playing for drunks? And how do you say petit bourgeois who just need to blow off steam? And I will say, why have you forgotten le bal musette? For this is the popular music. This is the music of our age. This is the music of the people. And so I bring it tonight to votre salon, for you bohemians and intellectuals, so you will not forget the common man. I present to you Musette or Musette.
A year before Stein's Salon, Pope Pius X, the 257th Pope of the Catholic Church, issued the oath against modernism to be sworn to by all clergy, pastors, confessors, preachers, religious superiors, and professors in philosophical theological seminaries. From the oath, I profess that God, the origin and end of all things, can be known with certainty by the natural light of reason from the created world, that is, from the visible works of creation, as a cause from its effects, and that therefore his existence can also be demonstrated. I submit and adhere to the condemnations, declarations, and all the precepts contained in the encyclical Pascendi Dominici Gregis, which means feeding the flocks. The 28th point in Pius's encyclical states, for the modernists, whether as authors or propagandists, there is nothing stable, nothing immutable in the Church. These enemies of divine revelation extol human progress to the skies, and with rash and sacrilegious daring would have it introduced into the Catholic religion, as if religion were not the work of God, but of man, or some kind of philosophical discovery susceptible of perfection by human efforts. But Kant is not necessarily claiming that religion is not the work of God. Kant isn't an atheist. It is Marx, then Lenin, who are the sacrilegious foes of the Church. Religion is the opium of the people, the materialist Marx said. In 1919, the Russian religious philosopher Nikolai Berdyaev recalled a lecture at the Moscow Religious Philosophical Academy. One worker read a paper on the gospel in which he affirmed as a scientifically proved fact that the Mother of God was a prostitute and Jesus Christ the illegitimate son of a Roman soldier, a statement that was greeted with wild applause from the audience. Lenin would later deport Berdyaev and some 220 other undesirable intellectuals in 1922 aboard what was called the philosophy steamer.
There is a confusion that begins in the sequence of events. Do you understand? These are the days that birth our celebrated American Renaissance. You are asking me for things which I do not want to give. All of these critics, that wicked tradition, its normative form, a facsimile presentation of the texts, establishing reliable documents and ordering them authoritatively. This being especially crucial, we keep thinking this is not going to fall apart. Language, you see, is transitional. When you are blinded, it also acts as I am not. Can you feel the silences? Something shimmers along a desert path. I would like some more. Please, sir. Can you imagine this being the case, the past perfective, a dominant feature over One linguist explains that understanding and syntax do not always travel together, as the drunks on the subway one night in Philadelphia that punched through a window and rolled to a stop. Rock, dear, rock, yes. I'm drunk one night in Philadelphia. I wave at you, but you are on that plane. Among other places are Paris and Philippe. These are mine, the you of yours. We are in the basements of an electric city, and everything is lighted. When you look at me, you swear you've never seen anyone else. A man talks, and then it gets night, and everybody turns down the light. It rhymes. As Lizzie tells it, your eyes are blue. Tell me I should never change. 8 days later, your birthday happens, and I'm on a subway in the basements of Paris, and my neck is aching. Leave me your heart. You can see the elevators so nice through the windows.
Hit it. White Wines, a play in 3 acts by Gertrude Stein. Act 1, all together.
Cunning, very cunning and cheap. At that rate, a sale is a place to use typewriting. Shall we go home?
Cunning, quite cunning. A strange block is filled with choking.
Not too cunning, not cunning enough for wit and a stroke, and careless laughter, not cunning enough.
A pet, a winter pet and a summer pet, and any kind of a pet, a whole waste of pets, and no more, hardly more than ever.
A touching spoon, a real touching spoon is golden and show in that color. A really touching spoon is splendid, and dark, and is so nearly just right that there is no excuse.